I suffer with depression and anxiety. Those thoughts will come like, you're gonna die. I just never wanted to be alone anywhere in my house because of that. My name is Elizabeth and I'm 36 years old and I'm a secretary. This began after I had my second child. I became very depressed. I started having panic attacks and I couldn't be around a lot of people because I would get very nervous, and then that's when I would start getting the anxiety attacks. I would have a lot of thoughts, a lot of bad thoughts that will come to my head. I will hear voices saying you're gonna die. I could clearly hear that voice in my head saying that to me, you're gonna die. So that would terrify me. I would be terrified because I didn't know where it was coming from, or why was I listening? Why was I hearing that? I started closing myself. I didn't want to go out anywhere because I would think oh, if I go to the store, what about if I get into a car accident and I die? Or if I go to the mall, what about if I fall and I die? And I started just closing myself and didn't want to go out of my room. So it came to the point where I would have dreams, vivid dreams of me drowning my kids in the bathtub. And I would wake up terrified, scared, because I thought, I killed my kids. I didn't know, what was real, or what was a dream, or if I was conscious, or if I would lose my conscience and didn't know what I was doing. I was just so afraid of myself, so afraid of being by myself. So then I started seeing the psychologists, and they would start talking to me, giving me advice, but it wasn't helping. I still, things were just getting worse. Until so many times that I will end up in a hospital. That's how I ended up in a mental hospital. It was a very bad experience. That was rock bottom. That was the worst thing, because being there, I would, looking at other people in that situation, I would say I'm not crazy. I have my family, I have my children, I have to take care of them. After that, the psychologist talked to me, they evaluated me. He gave me more medication because he's what you have is not strong enough. So I got to give you something stronger. So they gave me more medication. The doctor told me you can't stop taking the pills. If you stop taking the pills, you're gonna get a relapse and you're gonna start having suicidal thoughts. So I didn't want to live like that no more. I worked with a friend that she was already coming to the church. She took me that day. I remember I received a prayer. And after that day, I was I have to give my life to God, because things are not going to get better. They're just going to keep getting worse. So that's when I started being more committed. I started doing my chain of prayers. I started doing everything, that was advised to me to do. So I started obeying, and I started doing everything that the pastor would tell me. The first thing I did, I stopped taking the pills. I said, I'm not gonna take these pills no more. I'm not gonna do it. I took that decision myself. I decided to use my faith, and I said, no, I'm not gonna take these pills anymore, because God cured me, God delivered me from this. And then I started seeing the difference in my life. I started seeing little by little that, I was being different. I was having different approaches to the situations. I would have problems, but I was seeing that I was becoming stronger. I would hear in the services, about the Holy Spirit. I would start hearing He will give you strength. He will help you overcome your problems. So I was I want that. I need that in my life. They would say when you receive the Holy Spirit, you're gonna have joy. I wanted to have that joy. I was desperate for happiness. I was desperate for joy. So even though I was already delivered, but I was, I still felt I was missing something. So when the pastor would talk about the Holy Spirit, I would say, I need that, I need that in my life. So I started seeking the Holy Spirit because I wanted that inside of me. I wanted that joy. I wanted to, have that strength. I remember the day that I received the Holy Spirit. It was during the fast of Daniel. It was during the vigil. It was the last vigil that we were gonna have. So that Friday, I went prepared. I was prepared. I was fasting, and I said, God, this is the day. I'm not gonna leave your house without the Holy Spirit. And that day I poured out my heart to him, and I was sincere. I talked to him, I told him everything I had inside. I received the Holy Spirit that day. The first thing that I felt was that joy, that assurance inside of me that I was saved. That I knew that if I died that moment, I knew I was gonna be saved. That fear of dying was gone. That's when I knew, like, God, it was a very unforgettable moment. From that moment on, everything changed in my life. Everything, my attitudes changed, the way I saw life changed, everything changed. My family, my children, my house, everything changed. There was no sadness anymore. Problems, yeah, I would have problems, but I would face them differently. It was not the same person, The people all around me also noticed the changes in me right away, especially my family. They were like, what happened to you? Because everything changed. So my mom, she saw the difference. And also I would see other people in the church, going through problems, and I would want to help them too. If I overcame this, you could overcome that too. Or even if people would ask me, I would tell them what I did, how I changed, who changed me. I wanted to go out to the world and tell everyone. Me and my daughter were both assistants of the church, and we're happy now. There's no depression, there's no anxiety anymore. I'm able to go outside, talk to people. There's no more that sadness that was inside of me, or even those thoughts of dying or killing myself. Everything is gone. And that was all because of God. God transformed my life.